modern world is waging a silent war against your mind. Its primary weapons aren't swords and shields. They are comfort and distraction. This constant, low-grade assault trains your mind to be weak, reactive, and fragile. You're not lazy or broken. You're just running on faulty software in the middle of a battle you were never trained for. But what if I told you there's a timeless operating system for the human mind? An operating system designed for resilience, focus, and unbreakable inner strength. There is. It was forged over 2,000 years ago by the ancient Stoics. Men like Seneca, a philosopher who advised emperors, understood the internal battle better than anyone. He wrote, "We suffer more often in imagination than in reality." This isn't just an inspiring quote. It's a line of code for a better mind. Stoicism doesn't promise an easy life. It promises to make you so strong that the difficulty of life no longer breaks you. Today, we are going to install that new operating system. We will decode 9 ancient Stoic laws that will rewire your brain for resilience, focus, and inner peace. This is your guide to building a mind that cannot be broken. 1. Focus only on what you can control. This is the foundation of all Stoic power, and it's the first step to ending anxiety. The Stoics divided the world into 2 simple categories: things we can control and things we can't. What you can control: your thoughts, your judgments, your choices, your actions, your effort. What you can't control: everything else. The weather, the economy, what other people think of you, whether you get that promotion. The psychological fact is, anxiety is born from trying to control the uncontrollable. We get angry at the traffic. We obsess over someone else's opinion. We panic about the future. We are pouring our precious mental energy into things we have zero power over. The Stoic philosopher Epictetus, who was born a slave and became one of Rome's most respected teachers, said it best: "Make the best use of what is in your power, and take the rest as it happens." Imagine you're preparing for a huge job interview. The unwise mind obsesses over what the interviewer will think, worries about the other candidates, and panics about whether they'll get the offer. Their energy is scattered and anxious. The Stoic mind focuses only on what they can control: researching the company, preparing their answers, choosing their outfit, and getting a good night's sleep. They walk into that interview calm, prepared, and powerful because they've invested their energy wisely. They let go of the outcome. The next time you feel stressed, ask yourself this simple question: is this thing that is worrying me within my direct control? If the answer is yes, make a plan and act. If the answer is no, you must practice letting it go. This single shift in focus is the key to reclaiming your peace of mind. 2. Turn obstacles into fuel. Most people see an obstacle and stop. A rejection, a failure, a difficult person. We see these as roadblocks. The Stoics saw them as raw material. Marcus Aurelius gave us this powerful law: the impediment to action advances action. What stands in the way becomes the way. This is not just positive thinking. This is a profound psychological reframe. It's the art of turning a negative into a positive, a setback into a setup. Think about a common modern obstacle. You get laid off from your job. The normal reaction: panic, despair, anger, and a sense of victimhood. The obstacle becomes a wall. The Stoic reaction: the initial pain is acknowledged. But then the question shifts to, how can I use this? The obstacle becomes a path. Maybe the layoff is the fuel you needed to finally start your own business. Maybe it's the opportunity to learn a new skill you've been putting off. Maybe it's the push to move to a new city. The energy of the obstacle itself is channeled into a new, productive direction. Modern psychology calls this post-traumatic growth. It's the scientifically backed idea that people who endure difficult experiences can often see positive growth afterward. The Stoics were practicing this 2,000 years ago. They didn't just endure hardship, they used it. A rude person is not just an annoyance, they're a chance to practice patience. A project failure is not just a loss, it's a priceless lesson in what not to do. See every obstacle not as a barrier, but as a training partner. When life punches you, don't just ask, "Why me?" Ask, "What can this teach me?" And, "How can this make me stronger?" 3. Practice deliberate discomfort. Our modern world is addicted to comfort. We have temperature-controlled rooms, food delivered to our door, and endless entertainment. But the Stoics knew a hard truth. A life of constant comfort creates a weak and fragile mind. The Stoic philosopher Seneca was one of the wealthiest men in Rome, yet he practiced what he called voluntary hardship. He would sleep on the floor, eat plain food, and wear his worst clothes for a few days at a time. Why? He wrote to himself, "Is this the condition that I feared?" He was training his mind. He was giving himself a psychological vaccine against misfortune. By choosing a small, controlled amount of discomfort, he was preparing himself for the inevitable, uncontrolled hardships of life. The psychological principle here is adaptation. The more you expose yourself to a stressor in a controlled way, the less power it has over you. Take a cold shower, and you teach your body and mind to handle a sudden shock without panicking. Fast for a day, and you learn that hunger is just a sensation, not an emergency. Sit in silence without your phone for 10 minutes, and you train your mind to be calm without constant stimulation. Don't wait for life to test you. Test yourself first. Choose one small voluntary hardship this week. It's not about punishment, it's about preparation. You are forging a mind that doesn't break when the comforts of life are stripped away. 4. Master your inner dialogue. Your emotions are not caused by external events. They are caused by the judgments you make about those events. This is the most radical and empowering law of Stoicism. Epictetus put it bluntly, "It's not things that upset us, but our judgments about things." Someone cuts you off in traffic. The event is neutral. Your judgment, "That person is a disrespectful jerk. They have ruined my morning." The resulting emotion, anger, frustration. Your boss gives you critical feedback. The event is neutral. Your judgment, "I'm a failure. I'm going to get fired." The resulting emotion, fear, shame. The Stoics were the original cognitive behavioral therapists. They knew that if you could change your inner dialogue, you could change your emotional life. The event is the stimulus, but between that stimulus and your response, there is a space. In that space lies your power. The next time you feel a strong negative emotion, pause. Identify the external event. Then, identify the story you are telling yourself about that event. Is that story 100% true? Is there another, more empowering story you could tell? You didn't get cut off by a jerk. You got cut off by someone who is probably having a terrible day. You didn't get feedback because you're a failure. You got feedback because your boss wants you to grow. Mastering your mind is not about stopping your feelings. It's about taking control of the stories that create them. 5. Remember that everything is temporary. Memento mori. Most people live in denial of life's most obvious fact. It ends. We put off our dreams. We hold grudges. We waste time on trivialities, all under the illusion that we have forever. The Stoics did the opposite. They meditated on death. This practice is called memento mori. Remember you will die, not to be dark or morbid, but to be alive. Marcus Aurelius wrote in his private journal, "You could leave life right now. Let that determine what you do and say and think." This is not a threat. It's a tool for focus and clarification. When you truly internalize that your time is finite, your priorities snap into sharp focus. Petty arguments become a waste of your precious, limited time. The fear of what other people think becomes irrelevant in the face of your own mortality. The someday you've been putting off your dreams for becomes today. You don't need to dwell on death, but you can use it as a filter. Before you get angry, before you waste an hour scrolling, before you leave a kind word unsaid, ask yourself, if my time was short, is this how I would spend it? This question is an instant cure for a life of triviality. It doesn't make you anxious. It makes you intentional. 6. Stop expecting fairness. One of the greatest sources of human suffering is the belief that life should be fair. We work hard, and someone lazier gets the promotion. We are kind, and we are met with betrayal. We do the right thing, and we still lose. And we cry out, "That's not fair!" The Stoic response is blunt. Whoever promised you it would be? Fairness is a human concept, not a law of the universe. The Stoics never expected life to be fair. They expected reality. They expected challenges, injustice, and chaos. And because they expected it, they were prepared for it. When we cling to the idea of fairness, we become fragile. We are constantly disappointed and outraged by the world. But when we let go of that expectation, we become powerful. We stop wasting energy complaining about how things should be and start focusing our energy on how we will respond to things as they are. This is not about becoming cynical. It's about becoming resilient. You don't control the hand you are dealt, but you have absolute control over how you play it. Stop waiting for the world to be fair. Instead, build an inner character so strong that the world's unfairness cannot break you. 7. Choose your company wisely. We are social creatures, and our minds are like sponges. We absorb the attitudes, beliefs, and habits of the people we spend the most time with. Seneca gave this stark warning: associate with those who will make a better man of you. The Stoics understood that your social environment is a critical factor in your mental well-being. If you surround yourself with complainers, you will become a complainer. If you surround yourself with anxious people, you will become anxious. If you surround yourself with people who are disciplined, resilient, and wise, you will start to absorb those qualities. This is not about arrogantly cutting people off. It's about being a conscious architect of your own influences. Do an audit of the people you spend the most time with. Do they lift you up, or do they pull you down? Are your conversations about possibilities and growth, or about gossip and complaint? You are the average of the 5 people you associate with most. Choose them wisely. 8. Value virtue above all else. What is the ultimate goal in life? For many, it's wealth, status, or pleasure. For the Stoics, the answer was simple: virtue. Virtue meant living in accordance with your highest self. It meant being a good person, not because of the reward, but because it is the right thing to do. It is comprised of 4 key components: wisdom, knowing what is good, bad, and indifferent; justice, treating others with fairness and kindness; courage, facing fear and doing what is right; temperance, mastering your desires and appetites. Marcus Aurelius reminded himself constantly, just that you do the right thing. The rest doesn't matter. In a world obsessed with image, the Stoic is obsessed with character. In a world of noise, the Stoic is focused on their inner principles. This provides an unshakable foundation for life. Status can be lost, wealth can disappear, and the opinions of others can change in an instant. But your character is the one thing no one can ever take from you. Before making a decision, don't just ask, "What do I want?" or "What is easy?" Ask, "What is the right thing to do?" Align your actions with your values, even when no one is watching. This is how you build a life of profound self-respect. 9. Practice gratitude for what you have. The modern mind is a machine of desire. It is constantly focused on what it lacks. If only I had more money, a better job, a different partner, then I would be happy. The Stoics knew this was a trap. They practiced the art of gratitude, not as a cheesy self-help trick, but as a powerful psychological tool for finding joy in the present moment. Epictetus taught that true wealth is not having many possessions, but in having few wants. The fastest way to have few wants is to appreciate what you already have. Practice a negative visualization. This is a uniquely Stoic technique. Take a moment to imagine that you have lost the things you take for granted. Your health, your home, the people you love. Imagine it vividly. Then, open your eyes and feel the wave of gratitude for the fact that they are still here. This practice doesn't make you morbid. It makes you appreciative. It shifts your focus from what you lack to what you possess. A mind that is constantly chasing the next thing is always anxious. A mind that is grateful for what it has is always at peace. These 9 laws are not just philosophical ideas. They are a training program for your mind. The Stoics didn't write for an easy world. They wrote to survive storms, battles, and betrayals with their dignity intact. They teach us that true strength isn't about being unfeeling. It's about being the master of your feelings. It's not about controlling the world. It's about controlling yourself. You don't need to wait for motivation. You don't need the perfect moment. You just need to begin right now. Choose one of these laws and practice it today. Reclaim your focus, expect struggle, master your mind, and live with purpose. You don't need anyone's applause or approval, because when you walk the Stoic path, you become unshakable from within. And that kind of strength is the only kind that truly matters.